guys, welcome to a very special episode of Sketchalona, right here in the heart of Beijing, Tiananmen Square. I'm lost. If you're new to this channel, my name is Jan. Every week I post a couple of videos here and there in which I draw to my heart's content in my sketchbook, characters on my comic book, phosphor, the works. But for right now, I'm traveling, so let me show you some of the sights. Ooh. So, I'm at the airport, I'm at the train station. It's 6 o'clock in the morning. What can I say about my experience arriving here? Everything was pretty smooth. I mean, you know, I was a little freaked out because there's only the odd couple of words that I can actually read. Everything else is in Chinese. So there's that. But there's staff everywhere, they're pretty friendly. Long queues, but you know, like I couldn't check in for my for the last leg of my flight journey today, so I'm gonna have to do that today. I'm gonna have to find Wi-Fi somewhere. So there's little things like that. So they're all asking like, okay, so where's your boarding pass? I'm like, well, I couldn't check in. So I just show them the email and they just kind of look at it. And it's almost as if they're pretending to understand. It's really funny. Like they're just going up and down and up and down in the same email over and over. And then like, okay. So it's cool. Yeah, pretty chill. I'm starving though, and I'm in need of coffee. And so technically this would be the time I go to bed, but I pretty much slept half the journey here. So I think I should be okay. Except for the fact that when I had 2 seconds of Wi-Fi, I got a message saying that my internet on my phone is going to get cut off tomorrow because I didn't pay my bill. And I'm like, what the hell are you talking about? There's nothing I can do about it right now. Thank you very much. So I'll talk to you guys in a bit.
列车将开启左侧车门。Dear passengers, we will be arriving at 三元桥 in 3 minutes. Doors will open on the left. Passengers, welcome to the Airport Express line of Beijing Subway. The next stop, 东直门 Station.
So far, it's pretty sweet. All the announcers are in English. All the people are very helpful, even though they say very little when you ask them if they speak English. So, just cruising through the city. I think I forgot to mention because I was so out of it this morning, but like, I guess all in all, it's gonna, like, to get through the airport and from the airport and then to where I'm going, it is easily 2 hours. I think I may have just made a serious miscalculation. So I made it to here in the heart of Beijing, which should be awesome, but it's freezing cold. Only got my sweater, and I just read that it's a giant park that is about 23 hectares, and I think what they're trying to tell me is that there's not a Starbucks in sight. So I'm kind of screwed. This is not the Forbidden City. This is a park. Yeah, this is a freaking park. All the shops are closed. None of them sell coffee anyway, I've noticed. Got to see some old ladies doing qigong, but I think it's time to admit I might be lost. Oh well, I suppose there's worse places than a city of 10 million. Or was it 20? Can't tell. Holy shit, guys. This Snickers is saving my life right now. You have no idea. There's like vendors, but nobody sells coffee. So, chocolate it is. Just look at the crowds, huh? Stop. It's pretty crazy. There's some massive buildings. One of them is supposed to be the National Museum of China, but in Tiananmen Square in Beijing. I guess we're gonna have to start off with a little apology to myself, no, or to the map makers of China. I don't know. I looked on the map and I followed the map. Like it said, the Forbidden City is right here, and there's some beautiful gates. But it's pretty obvious, if I remember correctly, that this is the subway station south of the Forbidden City, and that meant that that little park that I found earlier was right next to it all along. But I'll show you the map. So the building with this picture over there is not actually the mausoleum. That must be something else. That building over there is not the mausoleum. This is the mausoleum, and that's why everyone is queuing, because they all want to see their hero. So I figured that one out without the internet. Let's see what kind of beautiful artifacts we can find. Maybe something to sketch. Who knows? All right, let's dive into the madness, shall we? So, I've already been on somewhat of an adventure here on Tiananmen Square. I'll edit that right in. Getting completely lost and not knowing where I was, not having enough coffee in me. All the vendors here, you know, they sell bottles of water and soda, but like hot drinks or coffee, very hard to find. And I figured I would have trouble with the internet and whatnot, and thought I should come straight here to the Forbidden City. And then I end up doing rounds here in all these crazy crowds here on Tiananmen Square, trying to find this place, and the whole time I was right over there in a little park, and then I misread the map and walked all the way around. Oh, well, you know, you live and learn. You live and learn. So yeah. Seems like a good spot. Grab a little pork over rice breakfast. Only 37 yuan. You know something? As far as tourist traps go, this is a hell of a lot better than the spaghetti I had one time next to the Vatican, that's for sure. It's pretty spicy too. Sweet. So one thing that I find incredibly amusing and at the same time infuriating is don't want to call it spatial awareness, but it's more of a outright cutting in line by like 4 people in a row. Like whether it's for the bag check and putting it through the detector, and like there's 3 people in line and just walk up and put their bag down. Or I was just standing behind 5 French ladies. So they turn around, get ready to walk away. I'm next in line, and this guy just moves from one line to the next. It's like constant. So now I'm like in this habit of creating this like little motion, like I see you, I see you. It's funny though. But check out this this beautiful courtyard of all the palaces, huh? So I read up a little bit on the history on the way in. This was basically the seat of imperial power about 5 centuries ago. And it's called the Forbidden City because, you know, us commoners were not allowed in. So makes you wonder what kind of parties they threw over here, you know? But it is quite stunning, I have to say. It's quite the sight. And it's busy. Whew. So, in case you're new to my channel, thank you for dropping by. My name is Jan, and I like to draw. I've noticed some new folks have showed up and said hello. Thanks to Logan Andrews, who enjoyed the little sketch I made in one of my Sketchalona Draw episodes from the last 2 weeks, in which I had a little sketch of his up on screen. So he drew one of mine, and it was pretty awesome. Like, I think the only other time I've seen someone draw me, like as in like a fellow YouTuber, was Khaleesi, and she was doing after her 100-day run. And yeah, so Logan decided to name a little challenge after me, the Animal Challenge, which is just quite, it's very amusing. I can't say it with a straight face though. And it's basically he's jumping on the bandwagon to draw a fellow artist, and then hopefully the next will join in. And I think 2 people have lined up. But then besides that, the little sketch doodle draws that I've been putting up weren't just, you know, like I have to make something, which is how I started with the 3rd one, like the first one. And then the 2 after that were really like, I want to do quick character sketches, you know? Like superhero sketches, doesn't really matter, you know, just for a little fun. Man, the sun is getting hot. I come in, I was freezing my my butt off, and now I can actually feel myself burning up. So I've drawn Black Widow, I've drawn Captain America, and then Brian suggested TV Smallwood that I draw the Red Skull, and then my brother suggested in a comment I should have a go at Mr. Bean, which is definitely not someone I would think of. That could be cool. So I expect some more coming up, even though I am on holiday. I should make time for like 5 minutes, real time, no time lapse, and just go at it, okay? So that's still coming. So for this episode, I don't know if, like, I have no idea just how vast this complex is. I mean, it said next door when I was in the park, it was like 23 hectares, which is huge. But I don't know if they were talking about this or just the park, you know? So yeah, let's go find out. Let's find a spot to do a little sketch. So for this week's, for this episode's sketching, besides the sketch you saw earlier of part of one of the palaces at the Forbidden City, I thought I'd come up with a little bit of a scene. I'll talk about this a little bit more later on, but if you're new to the series, I tend to, find something to draw every episode and just sketch away to my heart's content, talk about the process and how I go about drawing. Just erase these lines a little bit so I can go over it with ink. So what we have here is a fun little scene at the airport. I've just been doodling, so I just, I drew this lady, starting with the mouth, and then just the rest of the expression fell into place. Nothing major. I think we've been watching a lot of Daredevil season 1, so I think this is based on Miss Karen Page, the blonde lady in that series. And then I thought it'd just be fun to draw someone else at the airport, just lugging some luggage, pulling out a kid, just a little fun scene, very muscular guy, completely the opposite of the lady over here. So let's just see what comes out, shall we? I'm gonna use more silhouettes on this side so it recedes more. I think the rule is you can, like, it's either the foreground or the background, and you just have to be consistent. So either all this over here is going to be black and then it makes it go into the foreground, or you do it the other way around where light is the foreground. So, which means, okay, so this guy, massive chest. So his arm is going to be a little bit more back, so smaller than this one, but it can also be more blacked out. So let's see. You might actually have to get one of the other pens for that, just to save on time. There we go. Just really massive hands. There we go. So I guess I could have just kept this line out and leave it for a colorist, but I'm not going to color this one. It's just going to be black and white. So we're just going to go all out. Now, of course, I'm drawing this little scene because I need some art for my Sketchalona series, which you're watching right now, I hope. And there was only so much time for drawing while I was actually traveling. Traveling can be very stressful. I did have my sketchbook with me, but you know, you're in this position where, well, on the one hand, you have this idea like, oh, I'm gonna like do a bit more of the travel vlog, and I'm gonna make sure I have time to do sketches in like foreign countries. And on the other hand, you just want to take it all in. So some of this is full disclosure, being drawn after the fact. Too cartoony. Okay. So we get the luggage. There we go. We have it. All right, so the luggage, I'm already making a mistake. See how I just kind of drew this luggage and it looks perfectly fine? Well, if you paid attention when, or if it was even visible, while I was drawing some of the background here in pencil, I did this makeshift vanishing point that is somewhere over here. Let's see. Whoop. So it's right over here, right? So then the character lines up over there like that, and that means the luggage should be lining up as well. So it should be like this. So I just screw that up, but it just makes it more realistic. So here we have the finished piece. I paid attention to making sure there was lots of little hints of shadows here and there, of the shapes, to be able for you to read properly like which way everything moves. I do think I kind of overdid it here, especially because in spite of all this detail, his hand is not quite grasping the child's arm correctly. Not a fan of the face, but you know, I think the mouth is way too big, but it's very dramatic. I think these are all things I can take apart separately and improve on. Overall, the vibe of being at an airport, comes across. I really like how the stark shadows here help build out the shape and clarify that he's holding his hand by having a black background of his shirt. I think this is a little too wrinkly on the knees. I think I may have overdone it there. This belly is definitely not working for me, but at a distance, you understand what's happening. And then over here, I think this could have been better. It's still something I need to practice at. But again, the overall shape, the overall what this drawing is comes across. So yeah, let me know what you think in the comments down below. It's time to wrap up this video and head over to the next destination. see these everywhere actually. These little mobile barriers on wheels that you can just collapse. Funny. The adventure in Beijing continues as I got myself completely lost taking the east exit and decided to go for a walk since I have about 2 hours. And then I ran out of steam. I'm completely crashing. And I just couldn't ask for directions. Couldn't find my way around. And then finally. But it turns out I can't log in because everything is in Chinese. And even when you switch it to English, the Wi-Fi doesn't take me anywhere, and the Apple Maps here is all in Chinese. So finally I found, one of the employees who definitely spoke English. And so I'm actually pretty close to the station where I need to be. So at least I went in the right direction. 300 meters, turn left, another 200, Dongxishuan station, something like that. And back to the airport, get my boarding pass sorted out. And then I don't know, like maybe just some coffee, because wow, what a day to be out of coffee, man. Still extremely jet lagged, but